Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Patriot and my newest podcast. I just wanted to speak with you, being it is so close to the election, and I wanted you to have this information. I read a story in the Daily Mail the other day that was written by their senior reporter. His name is Josh Boswell. And it was a story about the person who wants to be the second gentleman in the country, Doug Emhoff. And it was a story that was reported to this reporter from the Daily Mail from an ex-girlfriend, an attorney in New York who didn't want to be named, but had been with Doug Emhoff when he was going through his divorce in 2012. And so they had gotten together and had a relationship for about a month. And then they decided to go to France around the time of the Cannes Film Festival on May 24th of 2012. And she didn't want to give her name to the reporter, didn't expose her name in the story on dailymail.com, which you can all look up on the internet for yourself. It's all been verified because he has things inside the report, receipts and such that the two of them had when they traveled to France. So there's no question as to whether or not they were actually there or not. So this gal, Jane, claims that she had been together with him for about a month, that she was in New York and he was living in Los Angeles. And so she decided to go out to stay with him in his home in Los Angeles, where at the time he was running his law firm that's called Venable, a law office that he had out there. So she went to see him. And if I can read from you from the story on the Daily Mail, and again, you can all check this. But basically, what it says is that she went down there, she met with him. He talked about his ex-wife that he had 2 kids with. And one day they were out for a drive in his fancy sports car, and she decided to ask him around the same time in 2012 what his feelings were toward his wife, ex-wife or ex-wife to be, because she thought that he still kind of had feelings for her. So according to her story in the Daily Mail, she just flat out asked him. And so he told her very matter-of-factly what had happened, that he had had an affair with his daughter's nanny. Somehow she had become pregnant. And he talked with her about it. And according to this Jane in the report, he was all very matter-of-fact about it, like it was no big deal. So she said she got a little nervous at that time, but she had already bought these tickets to go to France with him, and she was bringing him with her. And so they went to France. And she claimed on that day of May 24th in 2012, they went to this elite party, which was going on at the Hotel de Cap in Antibes, France, which was a short distance away from the hotel they were staying at. And she was in a long formal gown, and he was in a nice tuxedo, and they had a wonderful time the whole night. And of course, I'm paraphrasing just the gist of the story, but you feel free to read the whole story in dailymail.com. And again, the story is by Josh Boswell, who is the senior reporter for the Daily Mail. He was also on Jesse Waters and explained how he had gotten all the information and what he had heard from this attorney. Now, she claimed that she really wasn't going to say anything about this, that it had happened in 2012, but that when she saw this guy, Doug Emhoff, and it saw that he was going out with Kamala Harris when she was still in California, she wondered about him and thought that, gee, I hope she does her due diligence on this guy because there's something not quite right about him. And then, of course, they had gotten married, and she said she still didn't think of anything of reporting on this incident that had happened in 2012, even though she had told numerous of her friends about it. But she said she really wasn't concerned about bringing it up again until she started seeing these interviews with this Doug Emhoff, where to all the people that were interviewing him, he started to come off as some kind of a feminist, that he was really cared about women and cared about their what goes on with them, and how, you know, there's a problem with men's masculinity these days and how they really need to take care of women. And she said it really perturbed her and got her upset. And so she got a hold of this person through the Daily Mail, or he approached her, I'm not sure exactly what, and that she told him the story. And basically what she said was that when they came out of the affair in 2012, there was a long line of people waiting for their cars to go back to their hotels. So she didn't want to wait through all this deluge of people. So she said what she did is she went and she approached the doorman who was getting the cars for everyone, and she gave him $100 and tapped him on the shoulder and told him, could you please get me a car before these other people, because I don't want to wait around in all this crowd. So apparently he said he would do that. At the same time, she claimed she felt a hand on her right shoulder, and it pulled her back, spun her around, and it was this Doug Emhoff, and he slapped her so hard in the face that he actually spun her around. And she claimed she got so upset over this because they'd had a wonderful night that she just slapped him back with both hands, one on each of his cheeks. And then at that time, the valet had told her, your car is ready. So she went over to the car, planning on going back to the hotel by herself, but that this Doug Emhoff actually forced his way into the car with her that she did not want. So as they were heading back to the hotel, she got the feeling that I need to let somebody know what's happened. So right there from the car, she contacted a male attorney friend of hers that was back in New York. So there was that time change. And she told him exactly what had happened. And she wanted this Doug Emhoff to see that she had actually told somebody about what had happened. Now, paraphrasing the story, she claimed that once they got back to the hotel, they broke up. Right after that time, they flew back to the United States. She went back to New York. He went back to LA. She said she really never had any other conversation with him other than 2 text messages that she had with him. One is where she asked him to repay some money that she owed her, which I believe was his cost for going out to France with her. And the second text message that she received from him, she said she received a text asking her for a suit that he had left behind with her, which she said she immediately threw in the trash. And that's the only 2 contacts she has ever had with this Doug Emhoff since that incident in 2012. Now, friends, the reason I bring this to your attention is because we are so close to the election, and the election is very close. And so I needed to bring this to my public's attention, my listeners' attention, so that you can be informed about what type of person this Doug Emhoff is that wants to be the second gentleman in the House, in the White House, along with Kamala Harris. Now, my only question is, since this story broke at the Daily Mail, this has never been reported on any of the mainstream media. Not on CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, nothing. And to me, this should be the top story on all of those news medias. Now, this reporter who reported the story in the Daily Mail, this Josh Boswell, said that on Monday, this past Monday, before the story was released, he reached out to Kamala Harris, her people, Doug Emhoff, his people, everybody, to try to get a comment from them on this incident before he released the story, and said crickets, that no one would respond to him. So he waited until Thursday and then released the story. And since the story was released in the Daily Mail, he has never been contacted by Emhoff or any of Kamala Harris's people to deny this. The only denial has been when some reporter asked him somewhere about this incident of him slapping an ex-girlfriend in 2012. The only thing he would say was, that never happened, it's not true, period. That's all that was said. So what I would ask is that all of my listeners here on American Patriot go to dailymail.com and read the story for yourself. You'll get all the details and everything that this Jane has reported on this story. I think it's something that you need to take a look at and think about before the election comes up here a week from Tuesday, because we are very, very close to this election, which I believe is the most important election in my lifetime. So for now, I want to thank you for watching my video and listening to my podcast here on American Patriot. And once again, this is your host, R. Leland Avellino, saying thanks for watching. I'll see you on my next podcast, and take care.